This episode of the Riff is brought to you by Lorenzo Valla. He wrote on the donation of Constantine. Now you know that.
Hello and welcome everybody to the Riff podcast, the only podcast on UCLA radio hosted by me, Noah Stern.
And me, Rafe Burstein.
Alongside super producer Furkan Yelchin.
Hello.
And today we are joined in the booth by two wonderful campus comedians, two all-stars of Shenanigans Comedy Club, Kylie Yamada and Sarah Euchner. They're giving thumbs up so like the audience can hear them, but great. It's good. It's awesome to have you guys in the booth.
I was saying hi to Noah only, actually.
Gotcha.
I was just letting you know you said
well,
it right.
This is a fine how do you do?
Yeah. You guys are both longtime listeners of the Riff. It's good to have you guys finally in the booth with us.
Mm-hmm.
I am curious. So you're both freshmen.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What is it that brought you to Shenanigans?
I'll go first. So I did improv in high school, and I liked it a lot. It brought me out of my shell. So I wanted to keep doing it in college. And so what I did was I looked up comedy scene at UCLA,
Mm-hmm.
and it basically brought me to this article that had a list of all the clubs, and among them was Shenanigans.
Whoa, among them.
Yeah, what were the others?
I mean, Rapid Fire, LCC, Enabler.
Let's not give them too much credit. But yeah, no, all great
Caps.
comedy clubs.
Caps. And so initially I went to like an info session at the beginning of this year for Shenanigans. Initially I was only interested in improv, but upon seeing like the other departments, I decided to check out sketch instead. And I have been part of sketch ever since and have joined even more departments.
Did you audition for improv?
I did not for Shenanigans Improv.
Nice.
What other improv team you auditioned for?
We're not giving them publicity.
Okay.
Very
Oh.
nice. She learns fast. And Sarah, what about you?
I also did comedy in high school. I did a sketch comedy group, and it was one of my favorite extracurriculars, and I really enjoyed the community, so I wanted to keep doing it.
Very nice. Yeah, it's been great to see you guys like showing up to a ton of meetings, both in sketch and digital and stand-up, I presume.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Damn. Is there any department you guys are not part of?
Improv.
Improv. Fair enough.
Marketing.
Marketing. Yeah.
Finance.
There's been
Design.
a whole lot of new departments spring up recently.
A lot of people who aren't part of them.
No, that's not true. That's not true. Don't shade.
No,
the
Hannah
department.
Regan's doing a great job.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't say she wasn't.
We said no one was
That's
showing
true.
up.
No, I just said a lot of people are not part of those departments. That's not wrong.
Comparatively.
Yeah.
sure.
Comparatively.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, fair enough. Fair
Nothing
that.
on the surface I said was bad.
enough.
But
But
deep
below
down.
the surface.
Below the surface is equally good.
Wow. So why are you guys drawn to comedy? I mean, normally comedians are tortured in some way, have some sort of deep past they're trying to push away. What do you guys like do in the comedy scene that kind of brought you here?
Laughing is fun.
Can't argue with that.
I totally do actually have a tragic, tortured past. I was unfortunately born 6 feet tall.
Oh my
and,
God.
We went over this the
She's
last
the
time.
tallest
Yeah.
person I know.
And we did go over this last time. And the trauma of it has forced me into becoming a clown to amuse others.
Wow.
And also writing is fun.
Writing is fun.
cool.
Would you guys say
Mhm.
that you're mostly in a certain department?
I would say I would say sketch is my main passion.
Mhm.
I would agree.
Yeah, I think I do really like digital and stand-up. I think I am best at and enjoy sketch the most.
Yeah.
You are very talented at sketch.
Yeah.
For sure.
Speaking of sketch, we got Laugh Den coming up in a few weeks. We got a lot of events coming up in a few weeks.
It's 3 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Week 9.
Sounds right.
We'll dive deeper in that at the back end of the show. But yeah, a lot of fun things are happening in Shenanigans. We got elections coming up. We got all sorts of
New logo.
new
New
logo.
logo. We're gonna have a gender reveal for the logo.
Gender.
We are.
Why are we
Oh.
gendering our logos?
Well, we're doing the same thing as how gender reveals.
I
happen.
know.
No, I'm just.
Yeah, so a lot of exciting things are coming, and I got to be honest, as a graduating senior, I think all three of us here, Ray, Furkan, and I, we're all going to be graduating now that Furkan's not taking a fifth year.
As far as we know.
As far as we know.
Officially.
TBD.
I got to say, it feels like there's a lot of exciting changes happening in Shenanigans I would like to be a part of for next year and the years after.
Good riddance to the old people. That's what I say. Toss them out. Bring in the new blood.
I know. I didn't realize I was in a booth with so many old geezers.
I mean, truly, Shenanigans, we've talked about this before,
Yeah.
skews young, and especially now, mostly first and second years.
Well, that's all gonna like change going forward because like this is the first year where we actually did outreach, realistically, and if that trend continues, in 4 years' time there'll be an equal amount of people in each grade, or at least like relatively more distributed than it is now.
Yeah. Especially.
Yeah, but by the time I'm a senior, I'll have left because I'll be tired of all you people.
You think?
So-
You think so?
We won't be here.
Yeah,
You'll
we
be tired
won't
of.
She'll be tired of the new freshmen. They'll be annoying.
They'll also all be 6 feet tall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Well, if they're anything like us.
Furkan, don't look at me like we're on a date.
No, I never thought.
That was a very romantic look.
I mean, I had debated on sitting like this with all the listeners. that
Just
can't
with your
stand
back
this.
to
I'm
us?
back to the other booth facing Rafe. I'm very curious to see who will join Shenanigans in the future. Like,
Yeah.
I was definitely not expecting this pool of people.
I mean,
did
were
you
you
have someone
expecting
you...
pools?
Yeah.
More handsome people.
To be honest, I don't know what I was like. This whole year, I had no idea what it was gonna turn into, and I'm pleased.
This
Yeah.
whole year, so like yesterday, you're like, God, how's Shenanigans gonna go?
Mhm.
So worried.
Speaking of being surprisingly pleased,
We're going to
reviews
talk
are
Sonic
in.
the Hedgehog again.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
They're redesigning Sonic the
Oh,
Hedgehog.
are they really?
Yes.
Poor
Yes.
designers, though.
Yeah, poor designers.
If I know my movies that I'm not allowed to talk about, I'm going to assume everything that was the effects that were completed for Sonic the Hedgehog were all in the trailer.
Yeah.
So, they won't have to rework everything, just a lot of it. Just most of it.
Yeah, just most of it. I mean, yeah, poor animators. That's what the people are saying is that the brunt of this work is going to be put on people who are already overworked, not unionized, and all that.
Dude, I love unions.
You love unions.
Yeah.
You love the police too, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I listened to that show.
Noah was saying something about people being surprisingly pleased.
Well,
Ratings. The reviews are in.
the reviews are in for Detective Pikachu.
Oh.
It seems less off-putting than people are
Then Rafe
anticipating.
is saying.
I would go so far. You know what? I'll save my feedback for next week when
God.
my NDA is expired.
Yeah, they
So
just really
excited.
turned
Wait,
into-
haven't there been reviews out?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean the movie's out.
That is true.
Fair enough. Is that what your NDA expires?
I hope it expires then.
You just
Otherwise-
can't ever
Speak on the
discuss the
NDA.
movie.
Otherwise, I might violate it next week and get in trouble.
That's the price Rafe paid for early previews.
From
Just
now
never
until
can
the end of
talk.
time, you cannot utter the word Detective Pikachu.
Chat says, I've said it and I'll say it again. Real fur and human teeth make it creepy. That is true,
Yeah.
referring to Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, that's what it
Which
was
is
referring
why
to.
Detective Pikachu only has real fur and fake teeth.
Chat's been popping off, not gonna lie.
Shout out to
Or
chat. We
popular.
are always monitoring chat.
Shout out to guest 3070,
Yeah,
wherever
not-
they may be.
Not in the chat for
Yeah.
some reason this
Yeah,
week,
who
but
knows?
something tells me they're closer than we might be thinking.
What character are you doing right now?
This character,
So like
It
Borat's impression of Bruno?
it is my man from Svenska,
I've
the
got to,
land
I've,
of milk and honey.
Oh, no.
We're doing improv tonight, are we?
I've got to be honest. I almost came on with a bit of an accent to say that I'm
I
guess.
thought you were going to do British.
What
Oh.
accent would you
What
what accent would you say that is?
Oh,
guess,
it is my Welsh sister.
guess
Nobody
that-
can do an accent because none of you have been outside of California.
I was.
that mean?
How dare you?
I
I was
have
born
been to
in
Nevada.
I was born in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
Whoa.
That's a fake place.
Is that your character or
No,
Kylie
I was
Yamada?
literally born in Malaysia. I mean, I don't remember it. I can lay no claim to that land at all.
I mean, to be fair, not many of us remember our births, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I was swimming out of there, man.
Dude,
Some of us remember our conception.
from birth canal to skateboard, bro.
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought that was going to rhyme or
That was
something.
his motto
It just
when he
turned out
ran
to be a
for-
very disturbing image.
When he ran for club president, that was his motto.
Dude.
And we elected him based on that.
I'll have
This is his only
daydreams
platform.
/ nightmares about that day.
Yeah. Weren't you late?
No.
You were
no,
late
my
to your
plan
own
was-
birth?
Okay, no. I was late strategically.
Wait.
Um,
Oh my god.
And in hindsight, not a good idea. But
No.
So-
not a good.
but it worked out. So
What was
I
your
mean,
strategy?
My
Losing?
strategy was that like people were late, and I didn't want to begin before people that I knew were gonna come were there, and people did also show up late, also fashionably late. Is like
Right, but as someone who was in the room at the time, there were a lot of people going, "I can't believe he's late to his own election."
I know, but hey, it all worked out.
Eh.
I mean, verdict's still out. We'll see what happens in the
Yeah.
next few weeks.
It's okay. My generation will fix the electoral college.
Yeah.
Well, we're trying to fix it.
President Yamada.
Hopefully, it doesn't go into a shit. There's a really good chance it
gross.
could just be a shit show.
Yeah, this
Um,
year. Yeah, I
we'll
mean, do you guys have any? I mean,
Are y'all running
yeah,
for
are
president?
y'all running for president?
No.
Oh, for sure. No.
Remember, we can't see it if you
I'm
shake your heads
sorry.
no.
Yeah.
I didn't want to publicly make an announcement.
What non-Shenanigans member would you like to see as president of Shenanigans?
I don't know any. I don't know
Like
any.
celebrity,
non-
living or dead, anyone?
Mm.
Phil Hartman?
Oh.
Sonic the
Um,
Hedgehog.
I mean,
He's dead to me.
and dead to
um,
everyone.
Dude, can you imagine Snoop Dogg president of Shenanigans?
You know what? Jermaine Clement, Fly the Concords.
Mm.
Good choice.
He was the crab thing in Moana.
He was.
I have
was.
not seen
Interesting.
Moana.
Have you not?
No.
He was also
Men in Black 3.
Vlad.
I've
no,
never
he,
seen a Men in Black.
He was in What We Do in the Shadows, my favorite
Ooh,
movie.
That's
He was
one
in
of my
Legion.
favorite movies as well.
Did
I
they
watched
ever
it.
Ooh,
find
someone
out
said
what
Robin
they do in
Williams.
Shadows?
Huh.
Robin Williams would be great. Would be
No,
great.
they said Robin Williams?
Yeah, with
Yeah,
the
question
on it.
mark?
Paul McCartney.
This is going to be a special viewer appreciation episode of the podcast. Please submit any questions. We'll be reading them on air.
What's
Please.
your favorite thing about the viewers, Furcon?
My favorite things about the viewers is that they are ruthless.
Are you calling us ruthless?
You're just saying the first word that came to your head.
Well, isn't that the question? Also, this is radio, so you don't really have time to think. You have to be on your toes.
Oh no.
I
Should I stand up then? Let me take-
beg to
clever.
differ.
Oh, that's horrible.
Well, that's not a hard thought to come.
Do we have more questions about ourselves?
Do
you have-
Interview us.
Do you have more?
Talk about me and only me.
Yeah, so
When was the first time you laughed the hardest? We always ask about the last time.
drawing a blank?
There's
Come on, Furcon remembers his own conception. Surely you can remember
no,
this.
you're
Oh,
right.
God.
You're right.
the exact moment I first saw Looney Tunes back in action.
Nice.
Which part was
The-
the funniest?
the
The Walmart scene?
Walmart desert scene. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, technically, the last time you laughed the hardest is the first time you've laughed the hardest because it's
The hardest.
Oh, I see.
Ooh.
It's like the first time you die is the last time you die because it's the first time.
We
you
gotta
die.
stop the
That's
show.
a bit
after
more.
Whoa. So sketch is always clearly a big part of your guys' lives. Were you guys raised on any sketch shows like Monty Python, Saturday Night Live, Mad TV?
Keegan Michael Key and Peele.
Yeah.
Interesting, Kylie.
I was not raised on sketch shows necessarily. I definitely I sought out like skits and stuff on YouTube. I remember watching a lot of College Humor at one
Oh,
point
yeah.
in my life.
Smosh.
Smosh,
Smosh.
yeah. Actually, I watched Smosh a lot.
Solid, yeah.
I saw like some SNL, but I wouldn't say I was overly familiar with it. In general, I think my taste skewed digital. So I did see some like Key and Peele sketches
Yeah.
in high school and stuff.
I've actually never seen a sketch in my life. I
Whoa.
don't know why I'm here. Yeah, it's fun.
You
I
just
don't know
write
what a
them.
sketch is. No, I don't.
Hmm.
What's a character?
She just wandered into the sketch meetings one day and was
Yeah.
too polite to leave
And kept coming back.
Yeah.
and paid dues.
Yep.
Yeah.
Any comedians that really stand out to you guys is like, oh, I'm like their writing style, their joke style comes through in your writing.
Kylie, you have an answer prepared.
I do have an answer prepared. I would say whenever people ask me like my favorite comedian or favorite female comedian, I say Rachel Bloom.
Mhm.
She wrote Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. She wrote a bunch of songs that are on YouTube now. Fuck Me, Ray Bradbury, and You Can Touch My Boobies. They're both very funny. She's a very funny lady. I would also say Ali Wong.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
She's
Shenanigans alum.
super funny.
Stop slandering her like that, Noah.
Super funny stand-up.
We performed on the same stage, her and I.
I don't even
You've
know.
done a lot of things in the same room as many great people.
I don't know if he counts as like a comedian, so to say, as much of like a just a writer. But Taika Waititi, he was one of the co-directors of What We Do in the Shadows. He directed Thor Ragnarok.
Jojo
Oh
Rabbit.
yeah, he's great.
He's doing Jojo Rabbit,
He's great.
which you guys talked about a couple weeks ago. He's incredibly talented and funny.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah doesn't have a favorite.
No, I'm not good at
Can you name
favorites
a
in general.
comedian? Can you name anyone?
No, I don't know any names.
Sarah
Like,
of
can't
people.
make is
I
physically
don't know my own name.
Sarah is physically incapable of making a decision.
That is true.
She's actually a horrible choice to bring onto the show.
That is true. I won't be able to answer any questions.
That's okay.
I can't talk at all. I'll just leave now.
This made for a great podcasting experience, I must say.
It
yeah,
is.
for sure, for sure.
So if you got how much Spark money are we trying to raise? Like 3,000 or something?
3,500.
If,
Oh my God.
if you had $3,500 to spend on shenanigans only related things, what would you spend it on?
a trip.
A trip?
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't put that in the wheel of things we were going to spend the money on.
Yeah, go somewhere
Yeah.
fun. Bond.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
cares about
Or,
going
or
games?
hear me out,
Yeah,
spend
we
it
use
on
the money for whatever we
podcasting
want.
equipment so that, whoever holds this podcast next will have, their own equipment with which to record the podcast.
That's on the wheel. That's on the wheel.
I mean, we should get Jack a gimbal, or he might cry.
Yeah.
Didn't Digital get money for a gimbal from?
Not
Awesome.
enough.
Apparently not enough.
I don't believe that.
We also
He
spent
needs-
it on snacks.
He needs $500, is what he says.
That's not happening. I won't be here to make that decision, but
It's
it's not
not
happening.
I don't know. I
he
mean,
really wants.
Give
gimbal.
Jack like a $200 camcorder, and he'll make the best content. I feel like.
I think he would rather kill himself than not get a gimbal at this point. So
He's put so much into the acquisition of that
into
gimbal.
That gimbal.
And this is the
Heart
green
and
screen
soul.
all over again. This is the green screen all over.
Yeah, and look at
again.
all
You
the stuff
digital
we made.
people are never happy. You get one green screen and suddenly you want other equipment.
How dare we need things.
Working mics.
Yeah. You know what has happened since the last podcast event?
Yeah.
The Men Aren't Funny Women show.
Oh,
That did happen.
Popped
Any
off.
any interesting stories you
I-
have to share?
I definitely
I broke
saw.
a chair.
Oh, Sarah did break a chair.
That was fun.
We did the sketch Dr. Goodbad.
Dr. Goodbad.
You guys, I think, should know it.
Yeah.
I'm
Rafe's-
quite familiar with
Rafe's
it.
been the doctor.
And we also did 9.81.
Yes.
I've also been in that.
I directed that on digital.
Really?
Whoa.
Oh, fun.
That was cool.
So
And-
really, this
Nice
is
Fuck,
a
I'm getting fucking roasted.
this is a women are stealing men's careers show.
Damn.
And anyway, during 9.81, Sarah was one of the students, and her chair just spontaneously broke in the middle. And Hannah, as the crazy teacher, was just like, "I'm glad that happened."
And then just sort of sat on a pile of wood for the rest of it.
It was a lot. The show was great. Yeah, there
it
was.
fun.
We had to turn away people actually.
Yeah, I figured when I was looking at like okay, I'm gonna start heading to the show now, and just seeing the lines out the door, I was like, oh, my presence will not be a good addition to the show.
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. We noticed.
Was his presence missed at all?
Even that half response is giving me too much credit. that was a show entirely put on by the hilarious women in Shenanigans. And
Yeah,
I'm
shout out to
glad
Jess
it
for
was a success.
organizing.
Shout out to Jess for putting that together.
Yeah.
I wish there was a woman on tech. It was Vinny doing that. So all women, other than the levels.
He had lipstick.
Yeah, he wore lipstick.
Yes.
We'll give him that.
He made a token
Did he
effort.
really?
He
Did he
did.
really?
He
Yeah.
had
Oh, wow.
black lipstick on. He looked very emo. I appreciated it a
Yeah.
lot.
Well, still out in solidarity. Got to give him respect for that.
Yeah.
It was a great night. Yeah, we brought back Katie Green, former stand-up head, and she
And,
was our
um,
headliner.
Jen Giddis.
Jen Giddis, yeah. I did my first
Yeah, you
real
did. You
stand-up
killed
set.
it.
It was a great show. Yeah.
It was fun.
That's wonderful.
It was so packed. I'm bummed I didn't get to watch it. Well, my job was basically turning people away. But it was insanely. It was like sardines. Like people were like squished. The door almost didn't close because it was so packed. And people gave us money. People gave us money.
I was at the improv space last night, and that donations jar was still out there. The men $1, women 79 cents, or not women, not men 79 cents.
But
I thought that said hot men at first, not men, and I was confused.
I think for next year y'all are probably gonna move that show on campus.
Yes.
Because it's such a good show idea to be honest.
No, it is such a great show idea.
And we have all the talented people to like do it. Like I don't think any other comedy club could have an all female. I guess Rapid Fire maybe, but
I mean,
I guess LCC as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
So that was a completely
nothing
false
about
statement.
this was special in the
Right.
slightest.
We're funnier.
Business Casual couldn't do an all-female comedy
Yes,
show.
correct.
There we go.
Those three
Various
guys could not.
acapella groups couldn't do a comedy show.
I can't wait till Business Casual puts out apps.
Yeah, guest in chat saying, "'Twas a woman's show. Could have kicked the guys out so the ladies got the seats first." I think
Oh,
that
that's ear
made
piercing.
sense.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Logistically hard to organize though.
Right. Also, illegal
No.
to say, based on your gender, you cannot come into this establishment. I think.
Oh no,
that's
they'd
illegal.
only have to go everywhere else in the world.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. No, but like, congrats you guys for putting that on.
Yeah, it was
I don't know who's like the.
Jessica
Jessica.
was she had the idea. She basically planned it. She did bring together a lot of the female heads. So she talked to Hannah, Akila, Emma, Hannah Regan.
Did Emma perform?
No, she couldn't
Okay.
make it. And she also talked to LCC, got female performers for improv.
Those LCC members some of them are in Shenanigans. I think Vivian's in Shenanigans.
Akila, obviously.
Akila, yeah.
Yeah, obviously Akila. And then Melissa,
Yeah.
as far as I know.
Oh, Cece?
Cece. Wow, I haven't seen Cece in
Yeah.
so long. Shit, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, the people you named are improvisers who are in LCC, but who perform at Shenanigans shows.
Is
for sure.
Vivian not on a? You're right.
LCC?
Interesting. She's
Yeah.
in our Slack. Why is she in our Slack?
I
Kick her out.
no,
fun.
it's not.
There's a lot of people in the Slack.
Yeah, there's a lot. Oh my god, yeah. The workspace admins can go through the email list of everyone in Slack, and there's so many people. You're like, why is this person in our Slack?
It's mainly because from the activities fair when we
Yeah.
added all those people and then they quit.
And yeah, I've
When was
since not
the
shown.
at the fall quarter?
Yeah.
I went to that.
Well, did you see our table?
I did.
I saw it too.
And I got handed a thing,
You
and then I
might-
came to a
I
meeting.
saw-
I might have handed you a flyer.
Right
Who
in
knows?
fall
I-
quarter,
I-
you came to a
I
meeting?
came to multiple meetings.
And then you just decided it wasn't for you. And then you're
No,
like,
y'all are just scary.
Interesting.
Oh,
Let's
that's
talk about
true.
this. Let's
Sarah
talk
was
about this.
terrified
Let's
of us.
unpack this.
Let's unpack. So what department? What was your first meeting?
I went to
ever?
a sketch meeting right after no, not right after. I went to a sketch meeting or two.
And what was your thoughts?
It was cool, but it was very like independent, people bringing in their own sketches, and I had only ever worked in collaborative sketch writing, so that intimidated me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Jess had her sketch about like Southern people saying weird Southern sayings.
Yeah, on the farm.
That was one of the first ones I went to. It was interesting.
Yeah, it's and then you joined Winter Quarter.
Yeah,
Came back.
Did you go to any other department meetings in the fall?
just sketch.
Just sketch. So what you have experience writing sketches with other people?
Yeah.
In high school, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many people would you write a sketch with?
We were maybe like 20-ish people.
Wow, you collaboratively wrote sketches with 20 people?
A lot of times people would bring in like an idea or a base script, and then we would all edit it together, or we would write it mostly separately and then work on it as we read it, things like that. But the show was very collaboratively written, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
It was
I
fun.
mean, traditionally, writers' rooms, like, you'll have someone who brings in an idea, and then
Right.
they all say, okay, well, what if the character did this? What if
yeah,
this happened?
that's pretty much what
So-
it was.
It makes sense in that regard. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, would we ever change the format? I guess
I
it's up
mean,
to the sketch head.
now we have.
It could be chaotic.
That's why Wednesday was created to like have people write sketches together. Because there's no way Thursday meeting. There's no way you can do that. Like people are too. We don't have any barriers to entry, so that tends to bring in people that might not, get it.
Well, now with the fees, the dues.
You think that's gonna deter people that aren't good?
I mean, just by saying, "Hey, we're not going to read your sketch if you don't Venmo."
I don't think anyone enforces that, to be honest.
I mean,
Stand up, they do enforce it.
Stand up.
Really?
Yeah, at the
They won't read your sketches and stand up?
Yeah, it's real rude.
At the very first stand-up meeting, Michael and Pippa was like, you aren't allowed to use the amp unless you show us proof that you've played your dues.
Also, I think most people that are in sketch have paid dues. So,
Yeah.
I don't think that's a problem.
With the exception of Furcon himself.
Yeah,
Surprise!
I actually have not paid dues yet. But also the club owes me
Wow.
like $50. So
Embezzlement.
it's not embezzlement. It's not embezzlement.
Can you take away someone's money on Venmo?
You can
you Venmo them
request
negative.
money.
No, take away. You
Steal,
Venmo
steal.
them negative $50,
Yeah.
and you are granted $50.
I wish.
In the tip note, if you put a gun, then it means that they have to pay you.
It's a water gun.
Yeah,
It's a threat.
Oh yeah, for sure.
yeah. They don't want you threatening people with your emojis, so now it's a water gun.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what also happened recently?
Dan?
Absolutely.
Dan, digital all-nighter.
That was
Oh,
fun.
yeah.
Yeah, talk about that.
That was so much fun.
Insane. It was a fever dream.
So basically, what it was, for those who aren't, familiar with digital, basically, all the dedicated people in digital got together.
So us cool kids.
In Kirchhoff at like 9:30 p.m. And apparently in Kirchhoff the rules are that from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. the building is reserved only for like UCLA students, staff, and faculty. So like no one else can get in, but we're allowed to be in there.
So we stayed there from 9:30 p.m. to 9:30 a.m.
Insane.
And just
And we
filmed,
didn't sleep, and we made things pretty much the entire time.
got a bunch of yerba mates and coffee, and we filmed like over 20 things.
Not all usable, but
We did have this one sketch. It was human bowling. So like, oh God,
Kylie was the top of the
I
pyramid,
was the top of the
obviously.
pyramid, and like Sarah and Akila were in the middle, and there were like three strong people at the bottom. And Jack like rolled in.
He had roller skates, to
on
be
roller
clear.
skates, rolled into us, and when you watch the video, Jack very clearly like just pushes me off. Just off the top of the
And
pyramid.
Kylie makes this prolonged scream of like, no.
And that was at like 4 a.m. It was crazy, and he did injure his thumb severely.
Jack came up with that one?
No, it was
Jessica.
Jessica.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
What a great idea.
Yeah, what a great idea.
That was awesome.
To harm people.
No, not the sketch. I mean the all night aspect of it.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
it was amazing.
Yeah, very much. I remember growing up watching the College Humor all-nighters ones.
That
They
was what
did
it
a
was
yearly
inspired by.
Yeah. Wow. So was there anything that we can expect to see soon, or has been edited, or?
So I think Jack and Max filmed this took them like a couple hours. They filmed this like Jesus singing sketch where it's like they sang pop songs because Max brought his guitar, but they just replaced all the words with Jesus.
So they had like the Beatles, like, help, I need some Jesus. And other things.
Not just any Jesus.
Yep, that's it.
Help!
I need some Jesus.
Help!
Oh no.
Can we
he's still
afford
going.
to play any Jesus parodies on the radio?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can play literally whatever we
lose
want.
every single listener?
No, there is a no playlist right next to your head.
Yeah, we're gonna lose our ad sense.
No
So-
Led Zeppelin, no Guns N' Roses, no DuckTales?
Yeah,
What's
no DuckTales.
DuckTales?
Yeah, it says DuckTale.
What is DuckTales?
Is that a band
It's
or
like-
the cartoon?
It's probably a band.
What is
Yeah,
No
Bowie
David
slash
Bowie.
Fat Nick?
I know them. They're just
Okay.
a rap group. Nelly's on there. Well, I voted on.
No
these.
Red
I
Hot
bet-
Chili Peppers?
Oh, really? Interesting.
Power
Power Bottom.
No Chris Brown. What could be wrong with Christian Chris Brown?
That was a hard vote for me. I
Really like.
Are you
Chris
telling
Brown.
me R. Kelly has done untoward things?
in
Wow.
some people's perspective, sure.
Interesting.
Backstreet Boys.
So it says nothing about Jesus parodies. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
No.
Cool.
So yeah, so I think so they were very excited for that sketch. So you would definitely see it.
There was a point where Felipe came in while we were trying to film, and he kept singing, or we were in the middle of a song, and he like started singing, and Jack and Max absolutely flipped out and was like, I'm gonna tell Aquila on you. I'm gonna come get Aquila to take you out of here.
That sounds like a Jack. Like, that was honestly a pretty good Jack impression.
Guys.
My impression of Jack sounds like my impression of Morty, which is to say, it sounds like my voice.
Jack also has an impression of Morty, apparently.
My favorite Jack impression has still got to be Michael Pyle's stand-up impression of him, where he just grits his teeth, like grabs the fuck out of a microphone and like, guys.
My favorite Jack impression is Jack doing an impression of himself, which he did for when they read through the sketch Lung Capacity.
Yeah.
Jack is definitely fun, in part because he's so self-aware.
Yeah.
And he himself is a meme of himself.
What a great guy.
What a great guy.
Great guy.
We've uploaded his episode, right?
I
We
think
have.
So.
Yes.
That's your job.
No one's paying me, so I'm not in a rush.
No one's paying any of us.
You have. I saw it.
I Venmo everyone -$10 after every show.
You can keep trying that. Maybe one day.
That video you're talking about that Jack made, or Michael made of Jack was on Retreat.
Yeah.
Sarah, you would have loved Retreat. I'm bummed.
I know, I was bummed I didn't go.
Were you in the club at that point?
I remember the general body meeting right before, and everyone was like, this is the cars, and I was like, oh, this seems fun.
Yeah, you should have.
Oh, yeah, sure. Hop on with no one knowing me and shown up to Retreat.
And then that's how people like get to know you.
That would have been terrifying.
Dude, that's what Eric did.
Well, Eric.
Eric's an interesting person.
We were in an orientation group together.
He's talking to me about wanting to be president multiple times.
It's not your
love
job
that.
to elect the next president,
No,
though.
but no, like I can like talk to people about the job though. And he has never once showed up to anything.
Do you think he has a chance?
Not this year.
No, he just messaged in our like orientation group chat. He does this like once a month, and he's like, "Do you guys want to go hang out? Are you like free this weekend?" I was like, "Where? Out of nowhere? Cool, sure."
You guys still use the orientation group chat?
Eric is a dedicated man.
I see the one person I kind of like was buddy with in my orientation, and every time I see him, we just kind of like make eye contact and then quickly avoid eye contact.
I'm still good friends with one person that I met in my orientation. He's in my group.
I was just talking to somebody who I met in my orientation today, and I was like, "Hey, remember when we met during orientation?"
Wow,
And-
thrilling
And they're
conversation.
like,
And then
"Get your
just-
hands off my throat! I don't know you." Ah.
It just flashed away
God, why
like
did I always
a
think
Family Guy cutaway gag.
But that was like 4 years ago, right?
Yeah,
Wow. How have you changed since being a freshman?
I'm more tired. I just don't have the patience for any sort of interactions anymore.
And you did when you were a freshman? Like you were...
Yeah, I don't think I
tried
have
to
that
force
now.
the patience.
He was
I had the
president
grit.
as a freshman.
He was what?
President of the club.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Prove me wrong.
I can't. I literally can't.
Yeah, no one has been there.
I
been
came
to
in
UCLA.
before we had our big boom of people.
Yeah,
That's right.
Rave's OG. What year did you join? Second year? First
Yeah,
year?
second year.
Second year? Austin Nassau was, or was it Vinny?
It was Dewey and Alex. I mean, I don't know who's
Not even
president. I don't know. I didn't associate
I
with the other ragtag groups.
I wish I got to meet Alex. I hear a lot about Alex. And
Wolfson?
and
Yeah.
I'm good friends with Brandon.
Wait. I hear a lot about Alex.
Yeah.
Is him and Brandon related?
Yes.
brothers.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Sketch. Well, let's have Rafe. I mean, we have two newer members of the sketch department, and we have an oldest, I would maybe say, along with you and Hannah and Vinny.
Okay.
Talk about your experience joining this. Talking about the sketch department.
I remember Alex being very like focused. Like, we'd have our jokes and whatnot, and then he'd be like, "All right, now we're gonna focus. We're gonna give some feedback." He was very intent on like giving like useful, productive feedback to sketches, as opposed to just being like, "All right, this is good, let's go."
Yeah.
And Dewey was also good. I'm trying to remember
Cool.
because I was
People wise, like how many people?
I was only with them for I think 1 quarter or 2 quarters.
And then they graduated.
Yeah, and then they graduated, and then they left the team to Steven first.
Yeah, I remember that. So like talk about the arc of the sketch department and like what it was like, not leaders, but like the people in it and how it was run. And I'm assuming there was laugh ends back then, right?
Yes. I think my first laughed in was in the Northwest Auditorium.
Good audience.
Very small,
Interesting.
lights real bright in your face.
Cool.
We haven't had a show there since.
No, we had stand up there. We had Bruin Fest.
Oh, that's right. I remember.
Yeah.
Remember that. That was
We
the
have-
Nicole Byer show.
That was a great show.
Yeah.
We have some tea in the chat.
What did it say?
A guest number 3070 says, "Wow, this Kylie girl fucking sucks. Absolute
Wow.
bore fest."
That is tea.
Interesting. Guest 3070, longtime listener. Well, whoever that person is clearly knows a lot
What a
about it because she
jerk.
is always in chat.
Why don't you come on the air, guest 3070,
Yeah.
you coward?
We can
And
have
call
some
you
people
out.
who
Face.
call in. Actually,
Is there an actual number?
Yes, there's a.
Is there really?
There is an actual number.
Oh, we're doing that every
Do it.
time.
Do it,
It's
guest
not on there, but
3070.
it's on
You
the-
won't
It's
bet.
on the app.
No
The
one
app-
has
who
the
has
app.
the app?
I'm
Who has the
sorry.
app?
We don't have it. Well, then look at the.
Well, my
Okay,
phone-
then
my
you can
phone is
call
dead. My
in.
phone
Go
is
on.
dead. Well, I'm not guest 3070.
That we
We'll
know
never
of.
know. We'll never know.
You're supposed to be dead, anyways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
canonically.
Yeah.
I'm really upset at the
Furcon's supposed to be dead?
continuity
Yeah.
errors in the Riff.
Wait, when did he die?
Oh, like episode 2.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think.
Fall quarter.
Well,
Oh,
episode
interesting.
2 of the Riff as we know it now.
Yeah.
I mean, not counting the first 3 episodes where it was like cram like 8 people in a booth, see what happens.
That was
sounds
crazy.
fun.
I
listened-
remember that.
I
I
miss
listened to
the
those.
energy of those
I'd
shows.
enjoy
It's
that.
also impossible. to
Impossible.
do.
Also, I miss doing the fun questions. Like no one ever had anything to say,
but
but
that-
I preferred doing the questions to
When
like a
we did-
straight up
when we
interview.
did that
What are the
type-
questions?
Yeah, ask us questions.
Yeah, come on, do it. Let's do it.
No,
We're
hold
ready.
on, hold on.
Yeah.
No,
Hold
Furcon,
on,
no.
hold on.
We're doing it.
We had like 5 people in that booth, and Rafe would propose a question, and then each person would have to answer that question. So it kind of felt more along the lines of like, now it's your turn to make us laugh with your response. Now it's your turn to make us laugh with your response. And it was just like not conducive to like a good show.
We can
at
just do
all.
like rapid
Because there was
fire
no
questions.
banter. There was
No
like,
banter.
Ask us
it was
questions.
like, hey,
Intended.
let's talk about this, and then there'd be like, no, answer the question,
Yeah.
which made it tough. But
That's fair.
I am glad that the podcast became at least somewhat more refined.
Yeah.
I will say my favorite of those really weird early episodes was probably the one that involved like I think Carl was on it and like you guys kept trying to get him to answer a question and like he just would not answer it in the slightest and then like he left during a break. So the only words he said during the entire podcast was "My name is Carl Hatch."
Yep, that sounds.
That
Yeah.
sounds like Carl.
Yeah.
I remember Furcon at one point being like, "All right, we got Carl in the studio. Let's hear from Carl." And then Carl's like, "Hey, what's up?"
Dude, I had a last year when y'all were in high school.
Ew.
Ew.
Well,
Yeah, what the?
no, hold on,
He
hold
said,
on.
he said
Oh
that
my
while licking his
goodness.
lips.
No.
Someone wants more tea. What more tea do we have?
No more
Guys.
tea from Furcon.
I had a show. I had a show.
Called
sit-
Tea Time.
Still tea.
Not tea time. That was last quarter. What was my show called? It was Sit Down Stand Up. And I interviewed Carl, Michael Pyle, and Clark when they were first becoming friends.
Aw.
Aww.
What a terrible show. That
Yeah, well, you should have told us because on the Riff we had that same trio, and what a terrible show that was.
Oh no.
It was like
This
pulling
is back
teeth.
when I could edit out pauses.
And it was like, okay, guys, who are some of your comedy influences?
Well, granted, I did that earlier, so thanks for the
But you
backhand.
said it with
Now you're-
enthusiasm.
now you're
Yeah,
talking,
and,
you
yeah,
know?
and this
Also, your
podcast
voice
has
is
been
not as
awful.
easy to mock.
Yeah.
My voice is. I've heard. My voice can pierce through Jack's like noise canceling headphones, and that makes me very self conscious about the the tone of my voice.
It is kind of interesting that Carl Michael duo who was so shitty on both our podcasts before have a good podcast now. This quarter, it's like, where was that energy?
How do we
guys?
know it's good?
It's insane.
I listened to it. It's absolutely it is a Lovecraftian Twin Peaks gossip show.
Are you saying Twin Peaks because they both took their shirt off last episode?
I say Twin Peaks because I think everyone might secretly be a murderer in their podcast town.
Well, we train them well.
Yeah. Through our belittling and telling them, guys, that was shit.
Yeah.
Dude, Carl was almost an intern on the show. That would have been.
We've gone through so many growing
We have made
spurts.
fun of so many people on this episode. We made fun of Eric. We made
It's
fun
just
of
a drag.
Carl.
Oh, we didn't make fun of
episode.
Eric. Did we make fun of Eric?
No, we didn't make fun of Eric.
We weren't.
mentioned
He's a
his
nice guy.
name.
He's a nice
I love. Well, you called him someone's little brother on retreat.
Because no.
You're never gonna live that down.
Hold on. For full disclosure, he looks so much like someone I went to middle school with, just younger. So when I said him, I
He
was like,
looks younger than the middle schooler?
no. Well, all right.
Digging yourself deeper.
So when I
Quit
saw him,
while you're
I
ahead,
just
Noah.
what I meant to say was, do you have an older brother that I might know in my grade? Is what I meant to say. What I
came
ended
out
up saying is, are you a younger brother? And he was like,
Are you someone's younger brother in this club? Is
that what I said? That sounds about right.
Guess 5463 says make fun of me. I don't know who you are. So how do I make fun of you?
We need full viewer lists.
Of all of the numbers.
Yeah.
No anonymity.
Rafe, do you have any questions for us? Any?
Okay, Kylie.
If you were a cereal, what was the first question?
Oh,
you
a
ever
fun
had?
question? Let me pull out my Google Doc.
Do you remember
Something
that?
like-
Do you
like-
remember
That's
if you
gathering
Rafe's
dust
Google
because
Doc
nobody
is amazing.
I like
nobody
the
ever wanted to do this.
If
And
you're
then the
a
podcast that I
cereal
took-
mascot, how many wives would you have or something? Or like,
What?
How many
It-
wives
it-
would you
Seven.
have?
it was a very weird
7.
take on cereal mascots, if I remember correctly.
There's a
Okay.
thing back here that says don't touch, and I gotta say, I wouldn't want to touch it, but the fact that it says don't touch, now I need to touch it.
Don't touch it.
You
'cause,
just couldn't, if you wrote nothing, it would be fine, but
No, you would be surprised. People are idiots.
This one would probably take more setup than we have. But I have, how would you blow your secret identity, assuming you were a superhero?
Oh, I would definitely accidentally mention it during dinner time at the Olive Garden, and
the
then
Olive Garden.
and like someone mentions my superhero name Batman, and I look up and I'm like, yeah, and then they're like, wait, and then I have to awkwardly talk about salt instead
Salt,
to divert the
specifically.
conversation.
What would you do, Sarah? Now's your time to entertain us.
Oh,
See, what are you
fun.
talking about, guys? This is a great format for a show.
I would probably, God, I would just be absent-minded. I'm very absent-minded. I would probably just forget that I wasn't supposed to tell people, and then be like, oh shoot, whoops. It's not very entertaining, but it's true.
Furkan actually yawned right as
Yeah,
she was saying
I
that.
know.
In the mic, staring at Sarah.
Just
Wow.
oh, crappy answer. Okay,
Just
moving
unhinged his
on.
jaw like a snake.
Did you guys ever watch those TV shows growing up that specifically made fun of stupid people? Not just cops and stuff like that, but
like all that.
like 1001 Ways to Die.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
My favorite was a guy who was in
A
an
jacuzzi?
emergency room
Oh god.
for putting things up his butt too far. And then the nurses found him dead from mercury poisoning
Oh,
because he
no.
rubber banded thermometers together and tried to dild himself with that, and they broke.
This reminds me of that time that you were yelled at over group chat for not realizing that something on the After Dark flyer wasn't supposed to be a dildo.
Yeah,
Me personally?
I
What?
vaguely.
What was supposed to be a dildo?
It was a Jessica episode. I remember because she read
Yeah,
out
she
loud the
wouldn't
group chat.
understand.
Yeah, it was.
Sorry, Jessica.
It was Noah was like, oh, it's a butt plug, and then Jillian was like, you can't put anything without a flared base inside your butt, Noah.
Yeah.
You should know that.
My favorite part about discourse with Jillian is that when it comes to certain subjects, she's very adamant that it's correctly sexually safe and healthy.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that's fair.
It just looks like a butt plug. He's like, well, it doesn't have a flared base, so that would mean it could get lost easily. I was like, all right, fair enough.
Did Jillian impersonation?
Yeah.
I feel like we've established none of us are good at
No,
impersonations.
certainly not.
Jillian is apparently a bulldog.
Practice safe sex.
I'm Richard Nixon now.
Oh my
I am
god.
not a butt plug.
Maybe that'll be what I put at the end.
That's the audio drop for the
Yes.
whole episode. I keep forgetting we have this soundboard.
What did the buttons on the right do?
Okay.
I don't think we tested
Are we
them
gonna-
last
Oh, I'm
week.
scared. I'm excited though.
You have to hold it down.
That's just a buzz.
Okay.
Oh, that could have been used
The one
comedically.
next- That's just like a beat, yeah.
No.
What?
There's multiple ahs.
Don't take Jack. Keep it.
Keep going. Keep going.
Oh, that's nice.
It's a knife. It's a knife.
That's a knife?
It's a knife from Proto Savage. That's good.
That's good. Yeah, these need to be labeled
Just put that
correctly.
after anything I say. Yeah. Perfect.
Oh, botched-o. I botched that
That
one.
one's-
Oh, that's a botch
This one, I
job.
have no idea what this is.
The Basha? Oh, it's Danny DeVito's cutting his toe with his toe knife.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is PJ Black, aka the Darewolf,
Yes.
and you are listening to UCLA Radio.
Yeah, let's not return to that
That's a
one.
lengthy one.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
okay, yeah.
And
So-
now
so
we
much
have
for an
time
audio
for
drop.
plugs. It went so long.
We do have time for plugs. Yeah.
Laughden.
Laughden. Yeah. Can you guys talk about
3
Laughden for a
weeks
little bit?
until
It took me a long
Laughden.
time to realize it was like Laugh Den. 'cause
Like it's supposed to be like a bear
like a
den.
bear den. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just like,
It's
thought it
not
was more
like
like
laugh
laughed.
now and then.
no, it was more like laughed in. That's how I read it.
Like LinkedIn.
Oh man,
No,
add me on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So what we have laughed at.
Laughden. I think it's officially May 31st.
It has been officially May 31st,
May
for a
31st.
while.
Woo.
That's my birthday. Just FYI.
Gemini?
It's Kylie's birthday.
Making that
Gemini?
Yes, Gemini.
Okay. May
May-
28th is my birthday.
Oh,
Ooh.
you're totally stealing my thunder. Okay.
Bird up.
Fun fact, Kylie, I already got you your birthday gift.
You wait. You.
Oh
you
my
bought me.
god. Well, don't
Fuck.
spoil it on air.
Definitely did not get you a birthday gift.
My birthday's far away.
Laughden. Follow Sarah on every social media.
Sarah has a lot of
don't.
Instagram followers, which I would not expect based
Oh,
on meeting
thanks.
her in person.
Yeah,
How
just like
rude.
You
total
seem
fucking
like a
loser,
total-
but
Wow. Any other things to plug? The Spark campaigns.
Yeah, Spark campaign for the entire month of May here at Shenanigans Comedy Club. We're raising money for a completely student-run comedy club. If you love hearing content from
Oh my gosh,
Shenanigans
the full
Comedy
script.
Club, you like coming to shows,
Jeez.
you like listening to this podcast, please consider donating to our Spark campaign.
Yeah.
That is spark.ucla.edu/shenanigans.
man, he's still talking.
It's still going. And shout out to finance for putting that together, and
Yes.
marketing. Special
Yes.
shout outs to Hannah Regan, Apoorva Shukla, and
Sochi.
and
Come
Sochi,
on.
the head. Well, you gotta save the head for last.
He
Gemini.
said Henrigan first.
Oh yeah. Well, okay, fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah. Shout out to everyone in the marketing. It's a wonderful new department. I'm excited to see where that takes us.
One last thought. Who's that fucking Gemini's you in the chat? That fucking.
Yeah, people don't like Gemini.
Really?
God.
I thought people didn't like my sign. I'm a Scorpio. I thought that was
Scorpio
like
season.
hated.
Plugs.
Plug yourself,
Tuesday
54,
show.
63.
Follow us on Instagram at UCLA Comedy, on Facebook Shenanigans Comedy Club.
Jesus. So many plugs.
That's
Butt
basically
plugs.
it. I mean, there's
Yeah.
more if we want to do personal
Yeah,
stuff.
let's do personal plugs. Sarah, where can people find you?
My room.
Your room, very nice. Kylie, where can people find you?
At Seabird_Lorna on every social media.
Very cool. Rafe?
I'm at Bursting Rafe on Twitter.
Furkan?
I'm at Furcon Yalson on Instagram, at Furcon_Yalson on Twitter. Check me out.
I am at Furkan Yelchin. I am at Noah Stern _ on Instagram, at Noah But No Arc on Twitter.
I
You
love
guys,
that.
thank you so much for coming out. Round of applause for.
It's a knife.
Oh, that's not the one. Round of applause for our wonderful guests out
you
there.
have to hit it a lot of
I gotta hit the clap a bunch.
You could just actually clap.
No, that's not it.
Scorpios are problematic.
Hit every button at once.
All right. Thank you guys so much for coming out. This has been the Riff. Tune in next week to hear Riff get riffy.
Yeah.
Bird up.